Hi, and welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live. Off-season mode, baseball talk tonight. I'm sure we'll get a little bit of Texas Longhorns talk as well in there with the latest CFP rankings coming out yesterday. But we're going to talk a little baseball on the show today. Wednesdays are always kind of our off-season show. A lot of comments, a lot of questions we'll be taking as the show goes on. We got a few pretty big topics to lead into. It's been a second, man. It has been a couple of weeks. We took last week off with the Thanksgiving holiday. No baseball show last week. A lot of football talk. I mean, how could you not at this point? But I am happy to get things back into baseball mode this week. Glad you're here. I want to say a special thank you to all of y'all that continue to choose Right on Rangers for all of your Texas Rangers content. Throw the Longhorns in there, the Cowboys, the Mavs, a little bit of everything. Again, would love to take your comments and questions along the way. Drop a comment, say what's up. Appreciate you guys being here. And we've got a great show for you. We are going to go through as much as we can over the next hour. It's going to be good stuff. So, first of all, we never actually really got a chance to talk through Marcus Semien, Brandon Nimmo. I talked about it a little bit here and there as I was doing some different football shows, but I got to say, I am definitely feeling like the Rangers are in a good spot with their outfield. I think I want to start there. The outfield right now, as currently constructed, you've got Evan Carter in center field. You've got Wyatt Langford in left field. You've also got in right field now Brandon Nimmo. I think it is going to be a great setup for the Rangers after really having a questionable outfield last year with some of the injuries. Some of the performances, obviously, not quite what they were wanting. You had Evan Carter underperforming. Looked good at times, but I would still say you didn't really get the version of Evan Carter, even when healthy, that you really wanted. And then in right field with Adolis Garcia, another year of a downward turn for him, and clearly a guy that the Rangers decided was not going to be worth paying and continuing to play right field for them next year. Hence the non-tender. And so I feel this year going into it, as long as Evan Carter can stay healthy, this is a good outfield. It's one of the better outfields, I think, in baseball, honestly. A lot of that is predicated on Carter's health. The Rangers do have options if one of those guys does go down. You've got some versatile players. You've got a Zeke Duran. You've got a guy in Josh Schmidt that can play in the outfield. But I would love if the Rangers would make a commitment. Evan Carter, playing him every day. Absolutely love the idea and the comments from Skip Schumacher that Evan Carter is going to at least be geared up towards that. Don't know if it's going to end up panning out. You've got to actually see what ends up happening with the results on the field. That matters, right? Philosophically, you can have Evan Carter out there every single day against whoever is throwing. But if he's not producing, clearly you've got to take that into account. But I've said it for a long time. I know some of you guys have too. You'd love to see Evan Carter really get a chance to be an everyday player, not middle of the season, something that you gear up towards through the offseason. You tell Evan Carter, you communicate to Evan Carter that it is going to be something that you're going to move forward with. You give him an opportunity to really lock in, have that mindset coming into spring training. Versus, we were all kind of complaining about this, right? Like during the middle of the season, it feels like when you flip that switch, everyday mode from platoon player, unless you've really been working on it and you've been locked in, don't really feel like it's necessarily the best thing to do, especially for a young guy like Carter, who's really only who's really only batted against righties to this point. I think if you give Evan Carter that mentality from day one in the offseason, we want you to be an everyday player. I think that can make a big difference. Really, really appreciate you guys. I'll get to comments. Jay, not at all, man. Not at all. Appreciate the comment, though, man. I will take that as a compliment. I will take it as a compliment. We're not going to agree on everything. We're not going to agree on everything, my guy. But I appreciate you. JJ, what's good, man? Yeah, look, I love the outfield now as well. The Nimmo trade, I think, largely going to be looked on as a good one. Winter meetings coming up. I am curious to see if the winter meetings can get things going. I don't know if they are going to really yield as much results as the buildup and the hype actually turns out to be. But I'm hopeful that maybe we can get some things moving during the winter meetings. I am. Hope springs eternal at this time of year, right? But sometimes the winter meetings end up falling a little flat. Like, let's be honest here. Seriously. The winter meetings, sometimes you get a couple of big moves out of them, but there's been years where not much happens. I hope it is the former. I hope we get a couple of big moves. Even if it's not Rangers stuff, man, it's always fun. Hey, Brian, what's good, man? Thanks for hanging out. Good to see you, my guy. You would trade Carter for a starting pitcher. I don't think right now would be a really wise idea to trade Evan Carter. If you trade Evan Carter right now, you're kind of trading at lowest, I feel like, possible value. He's coming off an injury. He's coming off multiple years with an injury. I don't think there's going to be a lot of teams knocking down the door for Evan Carter. Could be wrong, but I just kind of feel like Evan Carter's got to show you a little consistency with the health before you actually put him out on the trade block and see if somebody might be willing to take a bite. I think Evan Carter has got to show you that he can stay on the field. Probably has to show that he can actually hit lefty pitching. By the way, I love some of the things that Brandon Nimmo said in his initial interview. Brandon Nimmo was asked essentially how he became good at hitting left-handed pitching, which he is one of the better left-handed hitters against left-handed pitching in the league. And Nimmo basically said he hired, or he had the Mets hire, a left-handed batting practice coach that would pitch left-handed to him in BP and actually try to get him out, not just serving him up cookies up there in batting practice. I like the strategy. I wonder if Evan Carter will adopt it. If it worked for Nimmo, you might as well give it a shot with Carter. I thought that was a really, really interesting insight from Nimmo that some of the Rangers reporters were able to get out of him. We'll see what ends up happening. Nimmo fell off, unfortunately. I'm seeing a lot of this from Mets fans. I look, don't know if you're a Mets fan or not. Feel like it's a little salty. I mean, look, I looked up the numbers on this. I want to say there were 13 players. Listen to this real quick, all right? Hang with me. There were 13 players in baseball last year that had at least 25 homers, 92 RBI, and 13 stolen bases. 13 players. Brandon Nimmo was one of them. You're trying to tell me he's fallen off? He's not an above-average player. He's one of 13 players to have 25 homers, 92 RBI, and 13 stolen bases. Just for reference, there's about 680 or so players in 2025 that took ABs. Is that elite? Is that good? 13 out of 680? Come on. I see a lot of people, mainly New York Mets fans, expressing regret about the trade. They love Brandon Nimmo, but there are some people oddly kind of trying to downplay the Nimmo move, like he wasn't good last year. I just don't think that's accurate. You look at the numbers on the Baseball Savant page, it's not red or bleeding red, but it's definitely better than what the Rangers had last year. Maybe that's the perspective that some of y'all are missing. With Brandon Nimmo, we're getting a player that was essentially, I mean, he would have probably been the best or second best hitter on the team last year, maybe behind Corey Seager. I don't know. Yeah, I think he probably will have a bounce back too. I definitely think that he is going to have a good year in Texas. I feel it. For what it's worth. I mean, feeling it is not anything scientific or evidential, but I'll say this. One of 13 players to have 25 bombs, 92 RBI, 13 stolen bases. I think that he is a very, very good player that the Rangers will love to have at the top of their lineup next year. Yet, who's to say? I'm with you on this one, Brian. Nimmo, a change of scenery down in Texas. Who knows what the difference could be? Yeah, look, I saw this as well. I don't know if you guys saw Devin Williams signing with the Mets. So maybe this is one of the dominoes, if you will, with the Nimmo trade. You're eliminating some years off of being responsible for Nimmo. You still have 3 years of Marcus Semien money, right? But you had 5 years of Nimmo money left. You get rid of that, and now you go out and sign Devin Williams. That was not somebody that I really ever had on my radar. I know that some of you guys kind of had the same idea that Brian just shared, like, hey, maybe with Devin Williams, a change of scenery would be good for him. I didn't like what I saw when he pitched for the Yankees. I know some of you guys made the comment, buy low, but Devin Williams got a fine contract. I definitely would not have wanted to pay the contract that the Mets ended up paying for him. Ricky Don, appreciate the gift, man. Thank you so much. I'm good with the Rangers not going out and getting Devin Williams. That was never a name that intrigued me or interested me, period. I think that the Rangers, most likely, if I had to guess, Texas is probably going to piecemeal it together, which I know some of y'all don't want to hear. It would shock me, legitimately shock me, if the Rangers actually go out and get a bona fide big name closer. I would be absolutely floored. I think they are most likely going to go try and get kind of a buy low guy, maybe a lesser known name that has plus velocity, upper 90s, has a curveball, has a slider, has some kind of off speed pitch that has promise. And I think that they'll kind of go, let's develop it out and let's see if we can turn this guy into something special. Personally, I'd like to see them bring back Armstrong as the closer. I liked what I saw from Sean Armstrong. I think if you bring back Armstrong as closer, that probably works. I wish that they would have given the ball to Sean a little bit earlier on in the season in the 9th inning. I feel like they waited way too long to give the ball to Armstrong in the 9th. I think if they would have made that move sooner, I'm thinking beginning of the summer, we might have been in a different place at the end of September. There were quite a few games that got blown over the summer months. You had Armstrong pitching really, really well throughout the year. Was he perfect? No. Did he have a great year? Yes. So for me, I would be okay. You bring back Armstrong. That was kind of a rumor. By the way, we're going to talk about some of those that are flying around MLB right now. But Armstrong, Rangers, it's been talked about trying to work something out. We'll see. Cole Winn, definitely love, the idea of him being a guy that possibly could be a closer one day. I think I talked about during the season, Cole being a guy I'd be okay with in the 9th inning. The issues with Cole Winn was control, right, Antonio? Appreciate you, my guy. Good to see you. But I think at this point, you're probably going to need to see a little bit more consistency out of him. If he can master that pitch, keeping things inside the strike zone, he's obviously got some nasty off speed. It's just keeping runners off of the bases with free passes. I think that's the biggest thing. It makes you question whether Cole could be a guy that is reliable in the 9th inning. It's crazy what leaving the New York market does for athletes. Not a knock, but it's a different animal over there. I mean, look at Joey Gallo, right? Look at Joey Gallo. He was definitely a solid player in Arlington. I know he struck out a lot. I know the average was never super, super high, but clearly in the last years with Texas, he was becoming known as a legitimate player. 1 year, I mean, he started off the first couple of months, I think, what was it, like 19 or 20, as an MVP candidate. And he got traded to the Yankees, and it just went downhill from there. Then he went to the Dodgers, and then he bounced around with the Twins and the Nationals, and it just never was the same. But I do agree with you fully, Brian. Going to New York, some guys can do it. Some guys excel, and some guys crumple a little bit. We keep on going. Appreciate all you guys. Biggest FA, I want the Rangers to sign. Thank you for the comment, man. I would love to see the Rangers get JT Realmuto. I think Schwarber would be nice, but probably a bit of a pipe dream at this point. I would love to get JT. I think you have to go out and get a good catcher. I will be disappointed. I'll get over it. But I would love to see the Rangers go out and get a legitimate catcher. And I know some of you guys said Adley Rutschman. I don't know if I want to really trade for a guy like Adley Rutschman. I feel like the price is going to be too high. And if you're going to burn down the farm system, right? The Rangers already have one of the worst farm systems ranked by Baseball America. for what it's worth, in the game. If you're going to burn down the farm system, I want to burn it down for a little bit more of a sure shot than Adley Rutschman. Obviously, Adley had a great year a couple of seasons ago, was in the home run derby, looked like he was on top of the world, and last year was a very challenging year for him. Maybe you can buy low, but it feels like the the Orioles might hold on to him. I don't know. I don't want to pay big time prospects for Adley. If I'm going to be giving up like a Walcott, for example, or if I'm going to be giving up Santos, one of those guys in the top 5, I've got to be getting pretty close to a sure shot. I cannot take a chance on Adley Rutschman to have another flame out year, and I just gutted my farm system for a guy that didn't work out. There we go. Armstrong is closer. Heck no, he won't be that good next year. I can promise that. I don't know about this take, Ethan. I don't think that you can totally discredit. I think Sean Armstrong, you look at his career, has he ever been shut down dominant? No. But was this year with Texas just a complete anomaly? I would say probably not. So I'd be okay with them going back to Sean Armstrong. I really would. I think you could do a lot worse personally. Again, just don't see Texas going out and getting a bona fide closer, a big name guy. I really don't. We'll see what they decide to do, but bringing him back wouldn't bother me in the slightest. But look, new coach, Skip Schumacher, might not even have that on his radar, honestly. Might not even have that on his radar, really. But look, I mean, Sean Armstrong, you look at what he did with Tampa Bay in 2023 a couple of years ago. He had a 1.38 ERA in 40 games. I mean, I know it's fluctuated a little bit here and there over the years, but he has had some very good years in the mix. So I'd be okay with Armstrong. I think a Kirby Yates fall off, if you will. No disrespect to Kirby. Love Kirby Yates. I don't think we're going to see a Kirby Yates fall off from Sean Armstrong next year. We keep on going. Let's see. Who else would I be comfortable trading? Sam, I'd be comfortable trading really any guy in the farm system, if I could be honest. I don't think that the Rangers need to sit around and look to the future at this point. If you're going to move forward with Jacob deGrom, Nathan Eovaldi, Corey Seager, Brandon Nimmo, if you're going to move forward with some of these guys that are older, right, they're probably on the back 9 of their careers at this point, right? Jacob deGrom, Nathan Eovaldi especially. If you're truly in win now mode, I don't think you can be afraid to trade farm capital. I don't think you can be afraid to trade the farm for a big name. We're talking about Ketel Marte. I would love to get Marte. And if you got to trade Walcott to get Marte, I'm okay with it. I think you've got to go and make up your mind here. Are you in win now mode, or are you looking for the future? If you make the decision to go out and really stock up with your farm system, rebuild mode, great, so be it. But don't be in no man's land. That would be the worst thing I think the Rangers could do, is you're in this no man's land where you're trying to stay competitive with old players, but you're trying to kind of save some of the top prospects. You're like in this weird in-between where you're looking to the future, but you're trying to squeeze as much as you can out of the old guys. I think you got to be one or the other. And so if you're in win now mode, really trying to be competitive to win a World Series, I don't think you can be afraid to trade Walcott. I don't think you can be afraid to trade a guy like Winston Santos, like Gavin Fein. I know some people, I mentioned that on X, trading Gavin Fein. Ethan, I know you were a fan, but I know some people push back a little bit on me. I'm like, Gavin Fein is a high school kid, and he's the number 1 pick for us in the first round last year. I know he wasn't the number 1 overall, but he was our first round pick. I don't think you got to be afraid to trade Gavin Fein if it's going to make you a World Series contender this year. Again, you either got to be in win now mode or you got to be in rebuild mode. That is where I'm at. Caratini for a catching option. Look, he likes hitting in Arlington. We know that. We know that. But yeah, I think that I would much rather prefer the Rangers go out and get more of a sure shot. I think Caratini, getting older, who knows what we're going to get from him. I think that the Rangers should do whatever they can to get JT Realmuto. Is Edwin Diaz available on the cheap? I doubt it. Dan says Cody Freeman has earned the right to have the second base job. You guys know I love Cody Freeman. You guys know I love Cody Freeman. I think he's going to get an opportunity in the spring. I think he will get an opportunity in the spring, and I wouldn't mind him having a legitimate shot to play second base. I wouldn't mind him starting at second base. I just have a feeling it's kind of Josh Smith's job to lose. When they've interviewed Skip, he kind of has come out and used Josh Smith's name multiple times. I think that they are committed to using Josh Smith a majority of the time in the lineup. Does that mean he's going to play every day? I don't know, but I think he's going to be a guy who plays 5 out of 7 games, 4 out of 6 games. If you're talking about just from a weekly outlook, I would love for Cody Freeman to have a legitimate shot. I think if Cody Freeman goes out and kills it in the spring, it is going to be really hard to say no to him. Because if we're being honest, Josh Smith has mastered the hot start in March and in April, and maybe even in May. But what you've seen with Smith over the course of his career is an epic fall off in the back 9 in what, August, September, even in July a little bit. I think that if Cody goes out and has an incredible spring, we could see it. We could see it. We'll see. Marte surplus is 70 million and Walcott surplus is 62, so it could happen. Yeah. Smith was amazing at second base as LSU. Yeah, look, a lot of these guys are really good in college, right? It's just a totally different level when you get to the big leagues. But yeah, I think Josh could absolutely play the position. Absolutely. 4P Sports Cars, appreciate you, man. Thank you for the gift. I can't believe we're in rebuild mode 2 years after winning the World Series. Grateful we won in 23. Tommy, I don't think we're rebuilding, man. I do think it could happen. But look, I think that you are going to have to make up your mind. Gary, appreciate you, man. Only have 2 years left of DeGrom Evo. Go all in, 100%. Good to see you, my guy. I'm with that all the way. I don't love this halfway in. I'm not saying they're halfway in, halfway out, but you don't necessarily feel like the Rangers are just fully in win now mode. I get that sense, and maybe it's just because it's been a slow start to the offseason. Tommy, appreciate the generosity, man. Thank you for all the gifts. I think it's just a slow start to the offseason, but I just feel like the Rangers haven't totally given themselves over to win now mode. You feel like they're trying to save a little money. They're trying to hold on to prospects. And outwardly, outside looking in, I don't think that there's anything just incredibly bad about that strategy. But I just think as a fan, and even as a little bit front office minded here, why would you want to be in this weird gray area where you're trying to win games and be competitive, but you don't completely want to give up top prospects? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You already have one of the worst farm systems in baseball, according to Baseball America and other websites of the like. I don't know. At this point, I'm selling Walcott. I'm selling Santos. If it means I'm getting a sure shot, major league, maybe all-star caliber player that's going to make me better over the next 2 or 3 seasons when I'm trying to squeeze every last drop out of Jacob deGrom, Nathan Eovaldi, and Corey Seager. What about Joey Bart from the Pirates as a trade option? I'm not super high on Joey Bart personally. Let's look at the numbers. I'll be happy to entertain some of these options, but I know he was obviously very highly touted coming up with San Francisco, right? And just don't think it worked out there. Hit 250, 4 homers, 30 RBI. So not bad. I mean, look, anything, it's sad to say this because it sounds like Jonah Heim hate, but if we're just keeping it a buck, Jonah Heim back-to-back years was one of the worst offensive players in baseball. And I don't like to say these things out loud to rub it in, but my point in bringing that up is you're going to be able to improve on that, right? Can we just be real? You're going to see an improvement, period, just because of how low the offensive output was the last 2 years. I know Higgy gave us some nice games here and there. But look, as I'm looking at Joey Bart's Baseball Savant page, bat speed is up, chase percentage is nice, walk percentage is good. Those are all solids. I don't know if the Pirates are willing to trade him or not. I don't know why they wouldn't be, honestly. But the only thing I don't like about Joey Bart, looking at the page right now, is the defense isn't very good. So that would be the one thing to me that would probably scare me away. We've had very bad defensive catchers over the last couple of years. I would love to see a catcher that can actually throw out base runners. Is anybody with me on that? Like, can we get a guy that can actually control the running game? That to me is what I would like to see more than anything else. I think if Cattell is an option, they should go in on that. 4P Sports Cards, 100%. If you can get Marte, I think you've got to go for it. I think you've got to consider it. I personally really would love to see them go get Marte and Real Muto. If you can go get those two guys, I think that is going to be a stacked, scary offense. I mean, Kyle Schwarber, Kyle Tucker, those guys would be nice. I think they're way too expensive for Texas. But JT, you're on a kind of a short-term deal. What I love about JT as well, if you go out and get Real Muto, he's on the same time frame as some of the other guys that you have on the roster already. You go sign JT to a 2 or 3 year deal, that's in line with DeGrom. It's in line with Evo. That's what I love about the prospect of going out and signing a JT Real Muto. We keep going here. Maybe we can get Pudge out of retirement. Oh, man. Like to stay young. I don't think you can worry about staying young. I don't think you can worry about, like I said, the farm system. Right now, you're trying to win games. If you're going to keep Jacob deGrom and Nathan Eovaldi and Corey Seager on the roster, you've got to go out and legitimately put together a team that is going to win, or at least has a good shot of winning a World Series. Otherwise, totally commit yourself to the rebuild, to the youth movement. And I'll be sad if that happens, but it would make a lot more sense to me. If the Rangers suddenly in the offseason decided to pivot to rebuild, it would suck. I would hate it, but I could at least make sense of it. I can't make as much sense of we're going to hold on to all of these old players with big contracts, but we're not really going to do all we can to put together a World Series contender. That does not make a lot of sense to me. He does fit the criteria. Pudge probably could still throw a couple of people out. Matt, what's good? Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you, man. Love to see them send off Young, DeGrom, Seager, Evo, dump them all for a complete rework. Like I said, that would make me sad, but it makes more sense than holding on to them and then not really doing a lot, not really making any splashy moves in the offseason. I think that would be really disappointing, but I would respect it and understand it a lot more than holding on and not really putting together that contender. You're welcome, my friend. Thank you for the comment. Few competitive years left before rebuild. Yep. We probably going to sign Arise, did I hear? I do know that Luis Arise is absolutely a name that's been floated around a lot. We know that Arise played for Skip Schumacher back in Miami. They have that connection, as does Jake Berger, who's currently on the team. I think that Skip has mentioned Jake as a candidate he'd really like to see bounce back. I think a lot of people are hoping for that. And Jake Berger bouncing back is good for Texas. He's controllable. He's affordable. We got to get that guy back that's hitting 30-plus bombs a year. And that is what he did before he came to Texas. I think we can give him some benefit of the doubt with injuries and stuff like that, but I'd love to see Jake Berger turn it around. Awesome human being, awesome guy. I think that they are really counting on that for next year. I know some of you probably have your doubts. That is a guy I am really rooting for in 2026. I want to see Jake Berger turn it around. Bye, Matt. See you later, man. Team is 2 big bats away from that. Antonio, that's why I was kind of saying Marte and Real Muto. I know Real Muto is not the best bat or the elite of the elite when it comes to hitting, but he is a solid bat, and I do think Real Muto, that bat and his glove behind the plate, combine that with Ketel Marte, I think that works. Now, you got to keep everybody healthy. Wyatt Langford's got to take the next step. Evan Carter has got to stay on the field. Jake Berger has to turn it around. I mean, there's a lot of things that have to fall into place here, but I think that you've got a shot going out and getting those two guys. Luis Arise, for me, Luis Arise, I think he is going to be a guy that fits with the philosophy. The Rangers have already come out and said, the front office at least, they want to be a team that puts the ball in play, has better approaches at the plate, does the little things, plays some small ball. All things that I love to hear. Freaking music to my ears that the Rangers want to be better situationally. Was one of our biggest complaints on the show over the last season. Does this team just have no ability to move a runner from first to third, from first to second, second to third, third to home with 1 out or less? I'm glad that the Rangers are making a little bit of a philosophical shift here when it comes to hitting. I think Luis Arise fits in that mold. I just wonder where he's going to fit in the lineup. I mean, to me, Luis Arise, he's probably going to DH. You've already got Jock DHing, and I don't think that the leash, I don't think the line is going to be super long for Jock. I think if he has a bad April, he's probably going to be benched or released, which would be extremely disappointing, and what a failure of a contract that would be. Right now, you've already kind of got a DH, and you've got other guys that need to DH. Corey Seager is going to need to DH. You might want to DH Jake Berger a little bit here and there. You've got a lot of guys that you probably want to fill in the DH role. If Luis Arise can't play the field at all, I don't know how well of a fit it really is for Texas. That's why I feel a lot better getting Ketel Marte. That is a guy who instantly plugs in at second base. That makes a lot of sense. Luis Arise, I'd love if you could plug him into second, but it sounds like the glove ain't very good. And I just don't know if the Rangers need another DH candidate. That's my only issue. Now, let me go to this. Schwarber is a different story. If you can go get Kyle Schwarber, you make room and you figure it out. Luis Arise, slap hitter, singles guy. I'm sorry, I'm not making room at all costs, I should say, for him. I'm not. But Kyle Schwarber, yeah, I'll make an exception for Schwarbs. We can get him in the lineup. Yeah, move on over Jock Peterson. We'll figure it out later. Luis Arise, I just don't really have that same feeling. I got to get this guy in the lineup at all costs. No, nice hitter. Does fit within what the Rangers are trying to do in 2026 offensively, but we'll see. I'd be very curious what the plan would be if they do go out and get Luis Arise. We keep on going. Appreciate you guys. Yes, Arise did play for Skip when he was with Miami. Yeah, look, he did have a lot going on. Antonio brings up a good point. Berger is someone I think can easily bounce back. Keep in mind he had a lot going on in his personal life with his daughter. Had a lot of injuries too, Antonio. A lot of injuries. You look like Cal Raleigh. Wouldn't be a show without the Cal Raleigh comp. Appreciate you, man. What else we got? Jock is over the hill. Luis, good to see you, man. Jacob, we'll take care of Nimmo. Absolutely. 4P sports cards. Yeah, Schwarber would be a dream. Look, it's not that I don't want Kyle Schwarber. I do. I really do. I just think he's going to be too expensive. Look, Schwarber is the exact type of guy that you want anchoring a lineup. He's a guy that can get on base. Yes, he strikes out a lot. In fact, that was kind of one of the things that, we were talking about with Murakami, right? The prized NPB player who just got posted coming over from Japan. Somebody was kind of clapping back at me like, why would we go get Murakami? He strikes out so much. Ohtani struck out more than Murakami did last year. Kyle Schwarber struck out way more than Murakami did last year. Strikeouts don't bother me if you can walk and if you can hit homers. You've got to be able to take walks and hit home runs if you are a strikeout guy. I can live with it. If you're not hitting homers and you're not taking walks and you're a strikeout guy, I can't. So Kyle Schwarber, I'd love to have him. I just think he's going to be out of the Rangers league. I really do. Drilling Hand, if you're still hanging out, I think Jock will be gone if he doesn't have a good March or April. If you see Jock struggling in spring training, struggling in late March, struggling in April, I think it's going to be a very, very short leash for him. Keep on going. Do I think we keep Carter? Ian, if you're still hanging out, appreciate you, man. I do think the Rangers are going to keep Carter. We were talking about it earlier on the show, like when we first went live. Evan Carter, his value, I think, is at a very low point right now. He's a guy that is right now known for an epic run in September and October of 2023, but a guy that really hasn't been able to stay on the field or stay healthy since. My personal opinion, the Rangers need to get Evan Carter right if you want to trade him. Let's just say the Rangers do want to move Evan Carter. You've got to get his value up. You've got to show the league that he can stay on the field. And preferably, you've got to get Evan Carter more in that everyday player category. I'm sorry, platoon players are just not as valuable as guys that can play every day. So, my opinion, if you do want to trade Evan Carter and you are Rangers front office, Fenstermaker, CY, all those guys, you've got to get Evan Carter right and you've got to get him on the field every day. I would not even entertain trading him until those two things happen. All right, we keep going. Schwarber, OBP, and RBI are what matter. Absolutely, Antonio, couldn't agree more. Ethan, we'll see what happens. We will see what happens with Jock Peterson. If they do get Luis Arraez, we'll see what happens. Honestly, brother, are you a little surprised, though, that they haven't gotten this deal done yet? I mean, I'm not getting on you or anything, but I know you feel like it's such a slam dunk. I know I'm sounding a little aggressive right now. Don't take it that way. Are you a little surprised the deal hasn't gotten done yet? Because I do agree, the Luis Arraez to Texas to reunite with Skip Schumacher, who was his manager when they were both in Miami, it makes a lot of sense. Maybe it's just the slow play of MLB free agency, but I'm a little surprised. I mean, for as much as people are talking this up like it's a done deal, I just feel like, man, why isn't it done yet? We're in a month into free agency at this point, right? Yeah, winter meetings are coming up pretty quick here. We can't trade Evan Carter yet. We can let him play every day. Chatty, I'm with you. That's exactly how I feel. You're going to go trade Evan Carter, who was your number one prospect just a couple of years ago. Got to get him healthy. Got to have him playing every day. Who is an option to sign as closer? Joey, what's good? Appreciate you. I think the Rangers might run it back with Armstrong. I think they are going to piecemeal it together. I don't think any of the big names are an option for Texas right now. I think CY has shown you his cards a little bit. He wants to spend money on starting pitching, and he wants to kind of piecemeal a bullpen together. I do not feel like we're going to go out and sign some big name. Joey Gallo's available. Antonio says, hey, Joey Gallo. Did y'all hear that? Y'all know that, right? Joey Gallo's trying to come back as a pitcher. I saw him post a little shot of him on the mound, throw in a little bit of a pen. Look, I hope Joey can make it work. I really do. I am a pretty big Joey Gallo fan. I loved when he was with the Rangers. He is a Las Vegas guy, went to Bishop Gorman here in Vegas. So always cheer for some of the Vegas guys. I personally would love to see him come back as a dominant relief pitcher. I don't know. I would assume he's trying to be a relief pitcher, not a starter. That would be fun if it actually worked out. That would be a lot of fun. Arraez absolutely doesn't strike out. And that's why I said I think he fits the mold of what the Rangers are going for, Ethan. I just wonder, what are they going to do with this lineup? And what do you do with Jock Peterson? I don't think anybody is clamoring to trade for Jock Peterson. And at that point, you just got a really, really expensive bench player. I don't know. Can we do damage with the piece together bullpen? Good question. I personally think that CY is good enough at finding guys that are a little below the radar and have good value. I think, yeah. Who knows? Like, I don't think the Rangers are ever going to give us a straight answer on this if you even ask. But what they have to get better at is establishing who actually is going to close games and not be afraid to make those moves quicker. I think they held on to Robert Garcia way too long. And we know Boch is loyal to his guys. That is kind of his MO. When in reality, the Rangers probably should have made a move much sooner away from Robert Garcia. Robert Garcia, I think, had an overall good year. Unfortunately, he just blew a number of games. That's all a lot of Rangers fans can think about. I think last year the problem was they waited way too long on Robert Garcia. You had to get him out of that closing role sooner, and instead they let him blow, what was it, about 5 to 7 games before they finally said, yeah, this ain't working out. Yeah. All right. Keep rolling here. What about Ryan Jeffers from the Twins? Wouldn't mind Jeff. I think as we look at his numbers, I was actually looking at Jeffers' Baseball Savant page. I should be. Yes, the chase rate, the walk rate, very solid. Jeffers is another guy, though, very bad defensively. I think the Rangers, they have to go and get a guy that can play defense. Here's how I think about it. We got very little production out of the catching position offensively. Higgy had like a great July. He had some good moments in August and September. It's not like Higgy killed it. Let's be real. Let's come back down to earth. Anybody that thinks Higgy was out of this world amazing last year, come on now. We got numbers to back this up. He was fine on the back 9 of the season, but I want to see the Rangers go get a catcher that can play the position. If you're not going to give me good offense, at least give me a guy that can block and that can throw out base runners. Ryan Jeffers, and I know this sounds disrespectful, but we just got to be real about the numbers. Ryan Jeffers is 5th percentile in caught stealing. I mean, this is Jonah Heim numbers right here. The pop time's a little bit better. We've got to get a guy that is above average in some of these metrics. I'm fully assuming we're not going to have some offensive juggernaut at catcher next year. I hope to be wrong. At least give me a guy that can play the position. Please. Please. Higgy was kind of only good on the road. This is actually so true. Road Higgy, we called him. Road Higgy was a very good catcher, or at least a very good hitter. We'll give him very good hitter. Home Higgy was... bleh. No. Hunter Goodman was a guy we talked about a lot. Antonio, appreciate you bringing this guy up. Hunter Goodman was a guy we talked about a ton. Hunter Goodman was absolutely a name that we threw around. Just don't know what the Rockies would be willing to take in a deal. But batting run value, 92nd percentile. Hunter Goodman, Rockies. Look, blocks above average, 70th percentile. Framing, 67th percentile. Pop time average. Caught stealing, a little below average, but way better than what we've had. I wouldn't mind going to go get a guy like Hunter Goodman. Definitely wouldn't mind that. Keep on rolling. Yeah, I'm very tired of it too. I think the last 2 years were so frustrating. You knew whenever Dave Raymond, Jared Sandler, Eric Nadel, whoever you listened to, when they would say, and the runner's off, you knew immediately, okay, well, we got a guy on second, or we got a guy on third. The caught stealings were so rare last year. I would love to just have a guy like Hedgie. I mean, look, even though they suck offensively, at least they can control the running game. At least they can block back there and keep everything in front of them. I got to say, I'd love to get a guy that can do it all. JT Realmuto, a Hunter Goodman type, but at least give me a guy that's good defensively. We cannot keep rolling out these guys that are bottom 10 percentile in defensive ability. It's not going to work. I think JT could absolutely be the guy for us. 100%. All right. Hey, let me get to comments here. Pitch clock makes it too easy to steal. Jackson, you do make a good point. Who's 4P? Who's from Texas too? Who is it from Texas? Are we talking about Goodman? He went to University of Memphis. Hey, drop it in the comment. Who are you talking about there? Rangers need Malcolm Moore to pan out. I don't think he is going to be a guy that they probably count on until probably 28. I think Malcolm Moore is still a couple of years away. Letting Heim walk at least wasn't the move. Robbie, are you saying they should have kept Heim? Couldn't we get Fairbanks at a reasonable price? Somebody else was talking about Fairbanks on YouTube. Hey, I'm up for a Fairbanks reunion. Do we have too many lefties? I did say in the going into the offseason, I'd love for Texas to go and get a right-handed bat. That's why JT Realmuto would be a great fit. You go get a bat like his. And even Ketel Marte, the switch hitter that he is, Ketel Marte would be outstanding. You're going to get him from the right side. You go get Realmuto and Marte. You've got two legitimate right-handed hitters. So, Ian, I'm with you on that. I would love to see that happen. Hey, by the way, on TikTok, would you do me a favor? If I missed a comment from you, can you send it again? YouTube, I'm going to hit up TikTok here for just a second. Make sure I get some of their comments in. I feel like I'm always giving priority to the YouTube guys. Drop your comment again if you want me to answer a question or comment on something. Shay, oh, you're talking about Langoliers. Langoliers is a Ranger killer. Go get him. Would the A's actually trade within the division, though? I feel like maybe they would. I mean, it is the A's, but at the same time, I'm not sure that they want to give us Shea Langoliers. I am excited for the A's to get to Vegas, man. For those of y'all that don't know, I've lived in Vegas for about the last 15 years. Definitely not a fan of any of the Vegas sports teams. I like the Knights. I know that that's a little sacrilegious for my Metroplex peeps. But the Knights are an organic franchise here. Didn't move from somewhere else. The Raiders, meh. And the A's definitely no. But, yeah, I'm excited for the Rangers to be here a couple of times a year. And when they do, we got to start having some people coming out to games. We got to get together, start doing some Ride On Rangers, like literally live in the stadium hangouts, man. I would love to do that. They did trade us Shona. That's true. They did trade us Shona Heim. So, look, it's not unprecedented. Maybe the A's will end up trading with us. My grandma could probably snag a steal or two against Hyman Higgy. That's one of the gold comments of the night, my guy. I appreciate that laugh. Rangers get a rise? Maybe. Maybe. Logman, Ethan on YouTube would 100% agree with you to get a rise. Thoughts on Peterson potentially getting traded? I'm a Mets fan. Jock Peterson, he may be a guy that the Rangers try and offload. Now, look, he's a one-year guy. I do think there's like a weird like mutual option for the third year, if I'm not mistaken. If the Rangers could offload Jock Peterson, I think that is the right thing to do. Can CY go 2 for 2? I mean, look, it's going to be tough to top the Nimmo trade in regards to a bad contract, Marcus Semien's, and not giving up a prospect to have another team take on your bad contract. Like the fact that they didn't have to trade a prospect to the Mets to take on the Semien deal, huge. I don't know if CY and Fenstermaker can go 2 for 2 and get that contract from Jock Peterson offloaded and not give up a prospect. I would love to see it happen. I'm sure that they're thinking about it. You don't really need Jock Peterson. I mean, I don't think you do. I think Jock had his moments with Texas, but it's kind of one of those things where you don't necessarily want to just hope and pray that he comes around. If the Rangers get Luis Arraez, I do seriously wonder if Jock's days are numbered. That would make sense to me. I don't know why you would keep Jock Peterson and have Luis Arraez, both DH guys. If you go get Luis Arraez, I feel like you've got to trade Jock. And maybe you get peanuts for him, but at least you're not paying the contract and you don't have this log jam at DH. That actually makes a lot of sense to me, but of course, y'all know the drill. I'm doing this on the fly. So in my head, if you get Arraez, I don't know why or how you hang on to Jock Peterson. Keep going. What do we do with Smith? Ian, I would love to see Smith be a guy that plays, I would say half the time, maybe 2/3 of the time. I want to see Josh get 100 to 120 games. I don't want to see Josh Smith as a 150 guy, a 140 guy. I think if you can get 120 really, really great games out of Josh Smith, that is ideal. You're going to have to give Corey Seager some rest days. We all know this. Josh Smith is going to get his opportunities. I don't know if Josh Smith is an everyday player at this point. The numbers do back that up. I like Josh Smith. I'm a fan of Josh Smith. I just wonder, can Josh get 162 March to the end of September, giving you consistent play? He hasn't done that over the last 2 seasons. I'm not saying he can't, but it's something that you haven't seen from him yet. And I'm sure it's something that is in his mind and something that he wants to prove all the doubters wrong about. But I think right now, if you're just going off of past history, if you could make Josh Smith more of a 100 to 120 guy instead of every day, I think that's the sweet spot for him. And I think he could be very deadly in that type of role. I do think Josh Smith is an everyday 150, 160 guy. I don't know if you're going to have him hold up over the course of the entire season. I think it's going to be tough. I really do. We keep rolling here. Pagan signing makes me worried with the closer issue. Closers are flying off the shelf. Zach, I don't think they're gonna go get a top closer, my guy. By the way, great to see you. Appreciate you. Thank you for the comment. I just don't see it. I'm gonna be really shocked, y'all, if we actually go out and sign a legit top shelf, top name closer. I just don't think it's gonna happen. I'm not saying that. It's definitely out of the question. I'm not saying I'm going to hate it if it does happen. I just don't see it happening. I think that CY has had back-to-back years of success going and getting, lower, I would say lesser, how about lesser known names, guys kind of at value, and then you develop them, you mold them into what you want. I think that is more the route they're probably going to go. Hey, 44, good to see you, man. Thank you so much for hanging out. Appreciate you. We'll keep going. What about Jake Berger? I think he is going to be a guy that the Rangers hope and pray bounces back. I think he was dealing with some personal issues. He was dealing with some injuries. He had a number of them. I'm really hoping we get 100% healthy Jake Berger. When that guy is healthy and he is at his best, he is a doubles and homers machine. I know that we didn't see it last year, but I think he can definitely be a strong bounce back candidate. He's young. He's controllable. That is the guy, y'all. If the Rangers can get Jake Berger to bounce back, you've got a lot of controllable years with Jake Berger in the mix. I mean, you look at Jake Berger and his contract situation right now, really advantageous for the Rangers. Right now, he's not even in ARB1 yet. He's in his last year of pre-ARB. You've still got 4 seasons of controllable years with Jake Berger. 4 seasons. He's going to be 33 by the time he hits free agency. So this is kind of an Adolis Garcia type, right? It's kind of almost the exact same situation we had with Dolly. You got 4 controllable years. I would love to see Jake Berger turn it around, man. What about Duran? Ian, I think he showed us just enough. I think Zeke Duran is a guy that you'd like to have around. If he can repeat what he did in 2025 and kind of be this super utility guy that actually swings a decent bat, we know the arm is live. We know he's got a cannon. I think he is a guy at one point I would have probably not minded seeing hit the road. Zeke Duran turned it around last year. I'd actually like to see the Rangers keep him at this point. Thoughts on Schwarber? Would love it, but I think he's going to be too expensive. I think he will be too expensive. Jock will have a bounce back year too. Joseph, I'd love to see it. I'm cheering for it. I just wonder if the Rangers go out, we just said it earlier, if they go out and get like Luis Arraez, you got a logjam at DH. And I just don't know if the Rangers are going to want to play musical chairs with DH. You've already got Corey Seager that's going to need to DH. There's other guys I'm sure that they want to be able to DH from time to time. I think the writing's kind of on the wall if the Rangers get Arraez. If they don't, Jock, I think they're definitely going to pray that man bounces back. If you can get Jock playing like he did when he was with Arizona, I think that they will be very, very pleased with that. But I don't know. Jock's getting older. Maybe that's too much to ask for. We keep going. Appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much. Try and see if I missed anything. Looks like we're doing pretty good, actually. Excellent. Hey, what are we at for time? We are close to an hour. We got about 5 minutes left on the show. I want to make sure I get through everything else. We talked about the Nimmo Semien swap. Look, the Corey Seager trade rumors. I know that MLB offseason gets so boring sometimes that people kind of got to make stuff up. I try not to do that if at all possible. I kind of lean into football instead of throwing out crazy things that aren't going to happen. Look, there's no way the Rangers trade Corey Seager and then keep Jacob deGrom and Nathan Eovaldi on the roster. If you see Corey Seager traded, they're doing a full rebuild. You will see other guys traded as well. I never understood people that actually thought it made sense for Corey Seager to be traded in a vacuum apart from everybody else. If they're trading Corey Seager, they're trading everybody that is on a contract that's probably over 30. I mean, look, guys like Berger that are, getting close to 30 but controllable, sure, you can keep them around. But if the Rangers trade Corey Seager, they are trading everybody of value that is above the age of 31, 32, and is not on pre-ARB or ARB contracts. 100%. We keep on going. Knuckleheads in the chat, man. I got to clean that up a little bit. Sorry, YouTube. Stupidest stuff, man. Seriously. Ugh. All right, we keep rolling. Yankees fans want to give up Wells, Volpe, and Dominguez for Seager. Yeah, no thank you. No thank you, man. I don't think that's going to happen. Don't think that is going to happen at all. I would be shocked. I would legitimately be shocked there. Do I see potential for a Rise to be signed? Yes, I do. I do think that is a strong possibility. Will they actually end up doing it? We will see. But yeah, I think 100% that is a strong possibility. A Rise would be a great signing. That would be an outstanding signing for Texas. But at the same time, I think you've got some questions that come as a result of that. And we were kind of talking about that as well, kind of going through if the Rangers do get him, where do you go from there, right? Where would you go from there at that point? We keep on going. Appreciate all you guys hanging. What did I miss? Anything else? Seager's not going to be traded. Ian, yeah, I'm with you on that one. Miguel, what's good? Go Cowboys. Yeah, we'll be here talking Cowboys a little bit. That will be, let me see, Thursday, tomorrow. Shoot, that snuck up, man. Yeah, tomorrow we will absolutely be talking Cowboys. We'll be here fourth quarter and afterwards. So I'm looking forward to going through that with y'all. If you like the Cowboys, you know where to go. Come on back and hang out. If not, though, come and talk some trash. It'll be great. We'll love it. Oh, man. Let's see. I think we're good to go, y'all. Hey, it's been a good day. We have got a lot covered here. Really, really appreciate you guys. It's been a really good show. We are going to take off. We'll be back tomorrow. I just realized Thursday Night Football, man. I actually knew it earlier because I got a reel in the mix. I'm going to be throwing out there tomorrow morning, a Cowboys TikTok, Cowboys reel that I'm going to throw out talking about the matchup with the Lions tomorrow. So it's just been a long day. But we'll be back tomorrow, fourth quarter, hanging out. Really appreciate all you guys. Look, off season for MLB. It's a little slow. Hopefully we get some things heating up here in a little bit. But love y'all. Appreciate the support so much. Thank you for everybody that's followed. If you haven't hit that follow button yet, let's go. This is what we do every Wednesday, man. We talk off-season baseball. During the actual season, we're live nearly every day after the games, talking Rangers. So would love for you to follow, be a part of the channel, all the special things we're doing. We do cover other sports, college football, NFL, NBA. It's great. So look, whether you're a fan of the other teams that I cover or not, you're always welcome to come hang out, talk some friendly trash. You know the drill. Appreciate you guys. We will see y'all tomorrow, maybe tomorrow night. Think fourth quarter, post game. We'll be around hanging out. Come join the fun. Have a great rest of your Wednesday night. And as I always say to end every show, God bless and go Rangers.